Do you want me to tell you the story about Australia?
Yeah. No, it's okay.
All right, are you going right now?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay. Like 12 years ago, before I did any painting, before I did any surfing, I was living in Colorado and I was working as a scientist, as a microbiologist. We were going around the country collecting viruses, and it was with a fellowship, and I was finished with that, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my scientific career, getting a PhD, going to go back to school. Was I going to continue on microbiology? Was I going to change to a different type of science or to study a different type of, well, I just didn't know what I was doing. But I had a friend who had planned when he graduated college to go on a surf trip. He was from like Hawaii and California, and he wanted to go on a surf trip, so he said, "Hey, you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." You know, surfing was nothing I ever did. Growing up in Colorado, I just snowboarded and skied. And so I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Surfing sounds awesome." So we flew here and bought a car, Holden panel wagon, 1978. It was rust colored with a giant lightning bolt going across it. We named it Nebuchadnezzar, and we lived in it for like a year and a half, and learned to surf, and learned to appreciate literature, learned to draw. Every night I would just take out all the stuff that was in my pockets, and I would draw it. And throughout the year and a half that I was gone, the drawings just started getting slowly better and better and better. And yeah, so basically that was 12 years ago when I was here, and I came here, and everything that I did once I got here has become my entire life in the last 12 years. So surfing and painting have kind of like taken over, whereas science sort of fell away, and obviously skiing and snowboarding fell away. So yeah, coming back here was like a really big deal for me, because it was a place that completely changed my life. You know, the stuff that I discovered then is kind of like all I'm doing now, and was sort of the reason I was here, was because of that stuff. Technically, when I really think about it, I think like there's this idea of like presence and being in the present moment. And when you're surfing, you really are being there in the present moment. Like if you're on a wave, you're standing on a wave, and you're trying to continue along the line of that wave. There really are so many metaphors that you can dive into life. But in the end, I really think it's just fun. It's just a beautiful, fun, exhilarating feeling. And like, I don't know, it's kind of the ultimate for me. I just can't get enough of it. A lot to do with just catching the wave. Like 90% of surfing I found was just like paddling to catch the fucking wave. Like knowing where you are on the beach, knowing where the peak is, knowing like what direction even to go. Like there's like, what the wind's doing, what the weather's doing, what the tide's doing, what the swell's doing, swell direction. Like there's so many of these variables. When you get everything to come together for like a really good barrel or something like that, it is so exceedingly rare that like, you know, it's vanishingly rare. Was that switch? Fakey? Fakey? Oh, whoa.
There's a man who sings sad songs while I sleep, and he wakes me just...
Oh, I think they're great. I think they could eat a little bit better and You know, treat their bodies a little bit better. But I guess they're not, you know, skating, you're not interested in longevity, you're just interested in real. They're so passionate, you know? In a different way than the surf guys, but they really are following an aggressive sport. It's really intense. It just seems so dangerous. It's surprising how much they don't get hurt even though they're doing all this crazy heavy shit. They're crazy. Fucking lunatics. Love those guys.